started. Do you have a mic? Did Steve leave the mic right there for you? There you go.
Yo, mic is off. Yo, what's up? How come I got the scratchy mic? Hey, did y'all get to take pictures with Jason? Is that pretty cool though? That Jason is here? Yeah. Thank you, Jason, for being here. There are a lot of places. Listen. This is the man who was at the very beginning. 10 years ago, he was here. And even before that, right? Right, Jason? Jason had, how many? 13 years. He was here from the beginning when there was how many agents? 30 agents. He was one of the first 30. All right? Let's give him a round of applause. This is really good. So we thank you so much, Lindsay. Lindsay put all this together kind of last minute. I know you guys, when there's free food, agents show up, right? That's really good. That's really good. But you know, I got in here and they said, hey, by the way, any of the speakers get to go to the bar, like open bar for the speakers, and I'm like, I like how that worked out. You know, like all the drinks you want before you get up and speak. Okay, yeah, all right.
I take care of my people.
Anyway, needless to say, I'll have mine afterwards. Thank you guys for being here. I know there's a lot of places that you could be today. Oh, switch mic. You guys get the scratchy mic. It was on? Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, this is going to be really, really good. You know, if you followed me for any length of time or you've seen me around, I've always taught listings. I got in the game, I took over 1,000 listings. Thank you, God. Took over 1,000 listings my first 10 years in the business. And I like to say, if you want to have a really good career in this business, you got to take care of your sphere of influence. How many of y'all know that? SOI. That would be a pretty good, like you'll make good money doing that. But then if you want to make a really great lifestyle, you got to incorporate farming. And I got to tell you, very few realtors do that. They don't incorporate the farming piece. But if you want to get rich, you got to have a niche. You got to. And that's what we're here for today. We got an incredible panel here. We've got Tom, Vanessa, Tammy, we've got Lindsay and Garrett, and they all represent different kinds of niches that are really incredible. You really should have one. And so Tom, commercial. We've got Vanessa with the luxury, of course. Doesn't she just look luxury? Yeah. That was a big mistake, not getting into luxury sooner than I did. So luxury, you want to look at that. Then we've got Tammy, who does the short-term rentals. That's her, kind of in her pocket. And then Lindsay, Farm and Ranch, what's up? All right. And then we got Garrett, who is over our military network. So thank you all for being here. The first, and by the way, they are all volunteers, just like I am. I was voluntold, actually. But they're volunteers that are giving up their time just to make you greater. So give them a round of applause. So Lindsay put the questions together, and they're really, really good, by the way.
Well, give me credit.
They're really deep and they're really good. But we might go off script a little bit. The first question that I really have for you guys is, why is having a niche important? Why is having a niche important to you? And I don't want, sometimes we think that a niche has to define us, and it really doesn't, okay? So, who wants to take that? I know that wasn't one of the questions that we told you, but what's important about having a niche for you guys?
Oh. Sorry.
I mean, it's just like if you have a coronary issue, you want a specialist, not a generalist, right? We can all do the generalities, but start with going deep on something. There is no shortcut. There is no excuse for, there's no fake it till you make it, just make it.
Yeah.
And by make it, I mean do the work, learn the thing, dig deep, find something you're passionate about that resonates in your area, and know more than anyone else. And that's called being a specialist.
I actually went a niche of a niche. So not only do I do luxury, but I do luxury farm and ranch. So it's like even smaller of a small. But when you actually dig into those niches, you actually will increase your overall GCIs. The reason you do that is because people go, well, wait a minute, I identify with you because you're in a niche and a niche. I know Stephanie does a lot of things with horse and rodeo people. Guess what? I'm there. I know those people. I finally got my husband in on it because, you know, he's actually with them 95% of the time. So when you can dig in together and get into the niche of something, you'll be surprised at the rewards that you get.
Hey guys, Tom Chong here. So I had the pleasure of working with Jason Yessing to bring on EXP Commercial. That now we're about to celebrate 3 years of EXP Commercial come November 6th and 7th of this year, right? So I'm here to represent James Huang, our commercial president. Obviously, he's very busy running around convention, helping folks talk about commercial. I chose to have a niche in recruiting commercial agents. I'm not a commercial agent in practice, but I've been to a whole lot of commercial in real life events, spoke with a majority of our commercial agents from all walks of life, from industrial to retail to multifamily to industrial, so on and so forth. But you've heard that saying that the riches are in the niches, right?
Right.
All right, and there's one message I'd like to impress upon the 87,000 residential agents out there, and about 750 commercial EXP agents here at EXP, is that our residential agents, 87,000 of us, we have so many relationships and referrals that we come across for commercial. And my word of advice for you is if you have a real commercial deal, try to find a commercial agent who specializes in those niches, because getting 25% of a big check is better than 100% of trying to do it on your own. 100% is zero by trying to do it on your own. I think that's all right. So very important. We got who are true commercial agents in the room with EXPcommercial.com emails. Woo! All right, there we go. All right. Somebody just told me earlier. Who was it that says they just had a referral for $15,000 payable to a residential agent just because they passed along a name for a retail strip mall? We all have clients, right? Do we have clients who own businesses?
Yes.
You are in the commercial business, just find someone to refer the business to.
So we're talking about a niche. My niche is my passion. You will never find me in a country club showing a house in high heels. I am sorry. I have my snake boots on. I sell in Texas. My specialty of the specialty is also hunting ranches. Because I grew up in the gun and hunting world. I actually trained for the Olympics and shotgun shooting. So I've been shooting since I was 5 years old. But with that, I refer all my residential out, and I see so many residential agents that are starving. They hold on to every deal, and I remind them it's not just about the commission. I said you have a fiduciary responsibility to service your clients 100%, and if you're not 100% competent, which is what our real estate commissions say, have the knowledge, and you've done it before, they can suspend or revoke your license. So just letting them know that when you hold on to those, you're actually not doing your clients a favor, and it's all about the money at that point. So letting them know, let's partner, let's do a referral. If you want to get into farm and ranch, I'll let them know, hey, you know what? We have a farm and ranch apprentice program. I'll be happy to do an apprenticeship, and you'll learn what you need to do. But my niche and my passion, people trust me, they know me, I know the lingo, like the military network, they know the lingo. And trust is how you have lifetime clientele.
Garrett Howell here. Going back to the niches, I'm actually going to jump forward to one of our topics is collaboration, right?
Yeah.
So that ties right into that. You have farm and ranch, luxury, short-term rentals, and just commercial. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge up here, right? And so you partner with these people, you collaborate with them, and then with me, with the military network, you got a veteran client, a veteran family that's moving. They need resources, right? Come to me, come to the military network, right? I'm the subject matter expert on finding you resources to help these families, right? So just like all these people are the subject matter experts. And so it goes back to our collaboration within our EXP family. So I represent, I refer out a lot of my commercial agents. One of my referrals right here in California, I represent a national franchise, group, Marco's Pizza, and I refer it out across the nation. I'm not doing the transaction, I'm just finding EXP commercial agents that are knowledgeable and that can help me out. I get 25%. Pretty easy. So,
Let's keep going on the collaboration piece. There's something else I want to connect on, because I know most of you guys want to know, how can we do more deals in this market? How can we get our unfair share? Because remember, we heard about that, transactions are down 30%. So you have to do, well, you should do things like get involved in a great niche that you love, so that you can bring up and have your unfair share. So we're gonna circle back around on that, but let's talk more about collaboration. What have you seen? EXP is a company that collaborates, are we not? Yes, we are. Yeah, and we love to collaborate. So let's talk a little bit more about how we can incorporate collaboration into our niche business, and how we can actually get business coming to us. And instead of having to chase business, we can start attracting business for ourselves.
Absolutely. So I took a chance with this lady right here. She's also my sponsor. We live in the same town of 10,000 people, and we both blow it up. So beautiful woman, not only sells real estate, has a team of, how large is 20 in her own office in the town of Fredericksburg, Texas, which is also like the Napa of Texas. So short-term rental is huge. And I've seen this woman run her brand, and she's also an attorney. I'm telling you, this is like the badass on the stage. But I looked at it and said, I looked at it and said, I live in this town, and Tammy took her entire brand and a team and put it under EXP. I am like missing something. So the collaboration on, I saw what was happening, and she sat down with me for 2 days and explained it to me, because I was like, how is this possible? She goes, Lindsay, I sat down for 6 months and just like couldn't believe it. And she became my sponsor because of that. And in collaboration, her giving me the launch for the Farm and Ranch division, which will officially be announced in 2024. Woo! That was a labor of love of 2 years, but when she told me, you gotta do this, I was like, you know what? This company is always ahead of the curve, and when they do it right. So I said, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm a Farm and Ranch broker, I have a Farm and Ranch team. I brought over the first Farm and Ranch team with absolutely no promise of a division. And now, collaboration with all XP agents. I'm teaching classes on Farm and Ranch, we're getting referrals. And then I have a team of 14 now, just because they're like, this is what I love, but I was selling houses, I didn't know this opportunity was a real thing. So that is my story on collaboration. It's changed my life, and I have, and the lives of others so far, so we're very excited about that. I'm gonna hand it off to my badass.
Thank you for that. But honestly, we all have to be a little more creative these days, right? We have to collaborate in places where we didn't maybe think of collaborating. Since we do a lot of, and have always done, short-term rentals, we represent 206 at the moment that we actually, as a totally separate company, been doing it longer than real estate. We take reservations for these vacation rentals. So finally, over the years, that started our first one in 2001. Just for context, Airbnb started in 2007. So don't call them Airbnbs, right? Don't give them our marketing. No, don't give over our brand to them. So I would say that what we really have done is we've built a lot of infrastructure. So we have the big cockpit looking scary software, all the employees who do that, and all the price optimizing, all the modules you can add on, because you can justify that with 206 rooms, right? Now you can't, if a lot of you in this room might represent 1, 2, 5, 10 properties on Airbnb, or you've thought of it, but you want to do that and make some money from it, but you don't want to invest in $50,000 worth of software and training, which we've done, right? So what we said is, why don't we collaborate with agents out there who have relationships with someone in Mackinac Island, Michigan, some beautiful tourist destination. They know the people they have. Why don't we go in and we handle the back end, they handle the front end. So that is a way that instead of having maybe 5 properties you represent, you can quickly grow to 10. Because now we're doing direct deposit. We're paying all of the taxes for you, through your government, through the software, answering the phone calls, everything, and you're building the relationships. How is that not a win for everyone? It's much better than us going out and sending out postcards to strangers, right? We need to find agents like y'all who have those relationships and want to leverage them, and who don't particularly want to start a new time-intensive company, which this is. So we are launching our first one in our second home of Natchez, Mississippi, as we speak. We found an agent there that has about 10 properties, and so we have one deal with her on those 10, and we're gonna have another deal on the ones we bring in together. And she said, you know what, I'm real good at finding people and helping guests, but I do accounting with a purple crayon. She said, it's embarrassing, my reporting, I can't. I was like, you know what, we can. And our homeowners reports are fabulous. We do direct deposit, it's all on autopilot. She's like, man, now instead of 10, I can go to 20, 30, 40. So look for opportunities in your world where you have a skill set you can offer to someone that is a win-win where you both can grow. That'd be my idea.
The whole saying goes, half of something is better than all of nothing. So when you collaborate, you're always going to get 100% of half. So when you decide to pair with commercial, which I have a commercial agent that I give him everything. He's got an $8.9 million listing that's off market right now that he markets if it's great, and I get a 25% referrals. Like Lindsay, we're both in the farm and ranch, but we do very, very different farm and ranch. So I do luxury, she does hunting. I am not touching a hunting ranch. I am not going out there to go hunting on a ranch, but guess what? I'll give it to Lindsay. You've got so many people that you can take the time to call. If you're not going out and looking for those opportunities to share, I just sold a client, they were military, parents and son sold their homes, and they went looking. I literally was able to get 7 different agents from 7 different states. And I said, I'm not gonna give any one of you the referral until I know which one they're going with, but here's an opportunity. Every one of those 7 agents took them on as if they were gonna be that one. And obviously they ended up in a state that we weren't actually, at first we found an agent on the fly. But EXP gives you that availability to be able to find an agent on the fly. They were literally like, hey, I found a property, I know I wasn't looking in this state, but I wanna go. I was able to pick up the phone, found the guy who actually understood land, and they bought a 50-acre property. You can't do that anywhere else unless you're collaborating. So we all have the expertise and the niches in this, so make sure that you're not trying to say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep it all for myself, and not look at who's here. Tammy, she's like a badass in short-term rental, so, yeah, I may sell the short-term rental, but I'm like, you call her and put it in. I have nothing to do with numbers.
So let's take a step back and think about the word collaboration. Why should we collaborate? Right, well, because the biggest producers up on stage that you see out there probably have teams, right? Because together, everyone achieves more. And then you gotta think about, well, if I don't collaborate, what will my lifestyle be like? Will I have personal freedom? Yeah, I might have, I don't know if I have financial freedom. Do you have a location freedom? Right, and so you might wanna collaborate that way. EXP has the best platform for collaboration, that's a workplace. If you guys aren't all over workplace and joining all these workplace groups that are specified,
Preach it.
right, baby? Right? And so you got to do that. Then it allows you to have a better lifestyle, not to check your phone while you're supposed to be eating with your spouse, not to watch your kids play ball and not be looking down on a phone and missing a home run. That's why you want to collaborate. Think about this. We all have clients. Those clients will move every 10 years or so, okay? When you're having conversations, you're gonna figure out where might they move to. If I live in Massachusetts and their mom retired to Florida, or if my sister's living in California and her kids are in Arizona, the natural thing that I wanna do as a real estate professional is, hey, let's get in touch with somebody in Arizona and somewhere in Florida, and let's get them on their MLSs locally, because I don't pay for that board, I live in Massachusetts. But I can find someone in Florida. Get the search going, and that's collaboration. So that saying that in the real estate industry, agents should have a client for life. Yeah. Who truly has a client for life that's followed their real estate transactions from the beginning to the end, right? And the only way you do that is you have to have a database and see around to track people and have partners in other markets. That's right. And get a referral check for life.
Did you want to weigh in here?
He started.
He's already gone.
But I'll tack on to that too. With our military network, we have a huge referral base. We have military members that are PCSing, which means moving from different bases and whatnot. We actually have a really cool program, and it's like a leave behind referral program, where if a active duty member or spouse is PCSing, they can leave their book of business behind, and it's picked up by a local agent that will pay them a referral fee on anybody in their book of
What is
business.
QCS for the civilians world?
Permanent change of station.
Okay.
So, we have a lot of acronyms and stuff in the military. So, PCS is just basically moving to a new base. So, in the military network, we move that in, and then we collaborate with, they're moving to a brand new town that they've never been to. They don't know anybody. They might know, people from their active duty husband or wife's platoon or whatever, but they don't have any friends. The spouse is there to set up all the schools, to set up, the housing and to get everything going. So we have a collaboration through our military network that where we have somebody there to help get situated in their new town. So it's pretty cool, the system that we have going in the military network.
And I just want to jump in and say, talk about collaboration. I have 2 members on my team who are veterans, and the fact that the military network's there, because there is a language that only people who have been in combat and who have lost people or have lost limbs, there is something there that you're doing your service as an agent to refer them to the right person for the job, not just for the deal, but for the conversation and the comfort. And so offer comfort and solutions by referring them to the military network. And let me tell you, they'll remember you because you set them up and referred them to the best person for that.
Hopefully you guys are starting to get a sense for why it's so important to collaborate. Are y'all starting to get that sense? And I know we all know this already, and practicing it is even better than knowing it. And the reality is, one of the things I like to say is, when independent brokers come to me and they say, they ask, why would I join EXP? Why would I say, would you rather have 100% of a grape or 50% of a watermelon? Because what you have right now is 100% of a grape. And you can keep holding on to it. This is the mindset that we want to get away from, is hoarding. And away from a scarcity mindset and more into abundance, which in the new era is all about collaboration. It's about me partnering with you, so I don't have to just sell 150 homes a year on my own. Now I've got partners, and in my organization, we sell 100 homes a month now. And that's what the power of EXP. So thank you so much for sharing. The next set of questions, you guys everybody doesn't have to answer them. How many of you guys want to know, what niche you should get into? Anybody want to know that? Or is that not even a question? No, nobody has that question? I don't see any hands. So, okay, we got a couple of hands?
You can't be shy with Nolly.
All right, so we will cover that in a minute, but first I want to talk about, we got this depressing news that we already knew the market was down, then they had to rub it in our face and remind us how bad it was when we saw it earlier. So we know that we're 30% fewer units, but we also know that when the market is up, we can do really, really good. And when the market's down, we can even do better in the down market. We got to get creative. So let's talk about this new market, this market that we find ourselves in, and apparently we'll find ourselves in for the next year or two, well, let's say a year or two. Let's just do it. What can we do to navigate that? What do you guys see on the horizon? What's your crystal ball show for what we need to be hunkering down and doing, so that not only can we survive, because I heard some talk on stage about surviving. Anybody want to survive? I'm not trying to survive. I'm trying to thrive. Right? I'm not in survival mode. I'm trying to thrive and get mine. So how can we thrive and get our unfair share in this market that we're talking about, going into?
First off, I want to ask, how many of you think that the economy creates your personal economy, or do you create your personal economy? Who thinks what?
Me.
I create my own economy. I do not watch the news. I do not care what goes on. Look, guys, I lived on an island for 15 years. I am real good at not knowing what's going on. I don't really care. If it's going to adversely affect my mindset, and that in turn adversely affects my pocketbook, then I don't need to know about it. You have to have that mindset that no matter what, you are the one that's creating your personal economy. If you do that and you change and you shift your mind in believing that you are the one that is out there creating. Who cares that everybody's telling you it's down 30%? I don't really care. But you know what, today I got 3 listing calls. When I get home, I've gotta go take 3 listings. So how many of y'all, when you've been here, are getting calls to take business? So, exactly. So that's because y'all are creating your personal economy. So if you don't take a look at yourself and say, hey, I'm the one that's responsible for what's coming in, you're also, though, responsible for what's not. So if you're not out there every day hustling, whatever it is, I don't call expireds, I don't do any of that. You've got to figure out what your secret sauce is and what your secret formula is. We all have our own secret formula, and I guarantee if you go talk to enough of us, you're all going to realize that we don't really look at everything else, what everyone is doing. We really look at what works for us and how we can embody and improve what we do on a daily basis, whatever that is.
Right on.
I love that.
How many, you know what, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's more than one way to make a living and to make money. How many of you own some real estate, even if it's your personal home right now? How many of you want to own more real estate? Every hand, right? I can tell you, other than a couple off-market deals, I've been completely out of the buying space for a couple of 3 years. I'm not gonna pay that, right? You make your money when you buy. You make your money when you buy. So every time, all the time, girlfriend. And I'm telling you, every big chunk of big money I've made is from selling real estate that I bought right. Those opportunities are coming around. One of my favorite examples, I'm starting to get interested again. One of my favorite examples, I bought a little B&B cottage next door to me for $350,000 10 years ago. It was a decent price, it wasn't a steal, it was okay. He was renting for $600 a month. I knew that I could bring in $6,000 a month. That wasn't magic, that was having been in the business, done the thing, shown up, taken the reservations, checked the guests in. The hard work told me I could bring in, and I did. In day one, started with $6,000 a month. So over the years, that cottage brought in cash flow. I got tax deductions from it. Who had a brief heart attack when COVID hit and you thought the world was gonna end, you weren't gonna go pay your bills? All of us, right? Well, we had a reservation company. Guess how much fun it is when you got 206 B&Bs and you get $600,000 worth of cancellations in 10 days. So I called my banker, who's a private investor, and he said, you know what? Why don't you just take, about $175,000 out of that same property? You got so much equity in it, it's killing. I'll give you that right tomorrow, I can get the money. So that smoothed the world over again, right, one more time. Then guess what happened 10 years later after we bought it? So last year, we sold that $350,000 cottage for $1,060,000. So even after the $175,000 was taken out, we walked out with another $500,000, and even better, since we started a management company many years ago, we still represent it and we keep 20% of all the gross profit. So the reason I'm saying this now is not to say how cool am I. I'm here to say 10 years ago, the market wasn't so hot. So guess what? A seller that in the last few years could have made bank and gotten multiple offers, he was sitting there 5 months in at $350. So I knew he wasn't gonna get $350 unless we got creative. So I said, you know what? I've got an investor that will do 80% loan to value if he's in first loan position, 30-year amortization, 5-year balloon. I will give you, Mr. Seller, if you will carry back 20%, I give you your $350. You carry back 20%, second lien position, 30-year amortization, 5-year balloon. He walks out from closing with 80% of his money. I gave him full price. And he's got a note making interest for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the first lien position took the whole note in. He said, you built so much equity in 5 years, 80% is nothing. So with zero money down, that property went in 10 years from $350,000 to $1,060,000. Most important, your opportunity to do that is now. Look for those sellers that aren't selling. That's the ones who are interested. When it's 2021, that guy didn't want to talk to you. So there's 2 ways to skin a cat. So just remember, this is your different way to skin a cat.
I'm so mesmerized, I'm thinking about, what am I next? What's the question?
We're just talking about the current, and not, you guys don't have to answer every question. Whoever wants to answer, like you're itching to answer, we can move on to the next one. But it's really just about this current economy and how are we going to navigate? Because we did get, what could seemed to be like bad news, you know, with all of the account. I didn't know it was that bad. I'm actually been pretty good. I moved to Puerto Rico a year ago. I'm good. I'm enjoying it. But I'm like, dang, it's not too good out there. Anyway, and so I'm glad that you put it in perspective, Vanessa, too, as well. Thank you, Tammy.
I love that. All right, so who was in the business back in 2007, 8, 9, in the deepest, darkest recession? Right. During that time, what I said to my organization, I had 2 offices in Boston and about 40 agents, and in our sales meeting, I said, we're going to refuse to participate in this recession. You guys have the ability to refuse to participate in this recession. As a matter of fact, when we go out, we capture more market share. Right? About 10% of agents have left the industry over the past, let's call it, year. On stage, they said that up to a third might leave the industry in the next 18 months. That means a third of the farming communities that you are in, somebody's leaving the spheres of influence wide open.
Yes.
For you to go capture market share.
That's right.
Right, so the last recession, we went from 30 agents to 120 agents 7 years later, right? So we at EXP, we're gonna go from 89,000 agents on our way to 500,000 agents, while everyone is suffering because we have the model, the scalability, the low overhead, the collaboration to take massive market share. So don't refuse to participate.
Yeah, I love it.
That's awesome. So I love the fact a lot of people that didn't come from a sales background really don't understand market share. So market share is, you know, grabbing a part of what's going on in the market, and you're the shareholder. You have the largest stock in that opportunity. So right now is the best time to grab market share of opportunities. You know, things are down. This is the perfect time for you to educate yourself on a niche market. Because guess what? This market is going down, but guess what? It's going to go up. And if you take this time while it's down to learn and diversify your opportunity portfolio, when the market goes up, you're going to be the new expert in the field. And you're going to be ready. So don't practice when the opportunities are high. Practice when they're down.
I'm going to add on to that because I was not in the business in 2008 and 2009. However, I was living in the Caribbean. I came back to Austin and I decided to get my real estate license in what everybody said, the downturn. Do you know how many people looked at me like I was crazy? They're like, wait, you're getting into it? I could not. I mean, for me, I didn't even hear anything. It doesn't matter. This was the easiest thing that I've done. Hit Rookie of the Year my first year in business. So I have never not produced icon level production since my very, very first 7 months in the business. So I got into it when all those people were getting out, and the first thing that everybody said in Austin, because one, I didn't know anybody, so I just moved there, literally knew nothing about real estate other than what I knew for myself, but I said, I bet on myself. So I always bet on myself that I could create the personal economy. So what did I do? I took market share, became what's in Austin Platinum Top 50. Everybody's like, where did she come from? So all I'm saying out there is that each of you have that ability right now to turn yourself on fire, and people go, where did he or she come from? Where did I, slap them silly, because that's what it's gonna happen.
That was absolute fire. You know, one of the questions that I get all the time, because you guys have seen me here and there, some of you haven't. And I love to teach, train, coach. That's what we all love to do, is pay it forward. Vanessa said this is the easiest thing she's ever done. I think I found it the same way for me. But we see every day, we find agents that are struggling. And one of the struggles that agents come to me with is, Nolly, how do I even know what niche to get into? How do I pick a niche? And what I teach is that and I want to hear from our panel on that. I teach that you basically understand who you are, understand your personality profile, okay, take the DISC test, the Genius test, the Passion test, take all the tests, and then find out who you are, and then pick a niche that suits you. In other words, you lead generate according to your personality profile. That's what I teach. Because that's what makes it fun and easy, okay? And think about a niche as a division of your business. It's a division. Just like now you have a farm and ranch division, okay? Doesn't mean that that's all you do. It just means that that's the division of your company, okay? I remember when I was doing short sales, because when things got really crazy, I did a lot of short sales. At one time, I had 121 listings in inventory because they weren't moving, okay? And here's the thing about it is, what you want to do is you have to focus on what it is that the market is giving you at that time, and then you take those lemons and turn them into the lemonade. Right now is the land of opportunity for you guys. So if somebody's thinking like, what niche should I get into? What would you say? Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, I mean, like choosing your niche, like my background, I was in the military for 10 years. I come from a service background, I owned restaurants before the military. So I've always been in service at some point, and I'm just giving back to my military family. I'm serving them, I'm serving the community in whatever aspect. You know, like Lindsay said, her passion is hunting ranches. She's probably the only person in here who can outshoot me. I'll give her credit, but you know, but she's passionate about it, and that's why she's so good at it, because she loves it, she dives in, she knows all about it, and that's her niche.
So with that, I tell people talk passion, but I talk lifestyles. So, you know, the lifestyle of Texas. Everybody wants to own a ranch in Texas sometime in their life, or they know somebody that does. So, I mean, that is the Texas dream. And I didn't come from Texas, but once I got there, I figured that out real quick. What are you doing? We're going to the ranch this weekend. And there's different types of ranches in Texas, but it is lifestyle, and it doesn't matter if you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company or just a good old boy that wants to take his kids out and hunt. In Texas, they want to own a ranch just to get away from, and that increased during COVID. More people wanted a little bit of space between them and their neighbors. But also geographically, your geographical, that network is important for me. Texas is 98% privately owned property. So there's a lot of land out there to buy and sell. Tammy, like I said, Tammy and I both live in Fredericksburg, Texas, which is the Napa of Texas. We have how many wineries now? 80 to 90 wineries, and then how many short-term rentals do we have in the county? A little over 1,000. This is a 10,000 population town with that many short-term rentals. So going in and finding out what's really popular in your region, and then diving into what you're passionate about, because you can't fake passion. And the more passionate you are, the more people gravitate to you because of that passion.
I think that's exactly right. It's about passion. Like, when I get in the topic of real estate, it's really hard because a lot of times my husband's like, can you talk about anything else? No, I can't. Like, I love it. My biggest thing for me, passion, is making my clients money. I have made some of my clients phenomenal money in a very short period of time. Like Tammy said, you make your money when you buy. I use that every single day, in and out of my mouth all the time. And then the other thing is, your answer is always no unless you ask. So let me tell you what, I've put some crazy things together. I have had 1031 exchanges that I have been able to have my clients buy a boat, buy a hot tub, get $150,000 worth of renovations, and bought the house all at the same time. So if you're not understanding how to be creative with that, I mean, I had somebody today ask me if I would teach that class, because I'm very creative in making sure that whatever it's going to do and how it's going to work. Because at the end of the day, you get paid for how creative you are. So if you don't think you're creative, you're going to figure out a way to be real creative if you want to make money.
One more little thing y'all can write down, and maybe you can use this one. It's, do you ever get asked, in whatever market it is, people come to Fredericksburg, and we're known as the most unaffordable place in Texas to live. The Austin News came out with a special. Fredericksburg's the most expensive place in Texas. So naturally, more millionaires per capita in Gillespie County. So what we get constantly is, well, I'd like to find a deal. I mean, I know there aren't any good deals. You ever hear that? I mean, I know there aren't any good deals, but I want it to be, you know what I've been telling them for years? Guys, for real, they're all good deals 5 years from now.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm like, that's not sales talk. That just came out while I was talking. I was like, every single thing I could have bought and didn't, I regret. Every single thing I sold and could have held on to, I regret. What does that tell you? Down the road, you're gonna look back and go, oh, it wasn't a good enough deal. So I stayed on the sidelines. I remember my brother one time asking me, going, "Hey, do you ever regret selling that place?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna need more than that. I bought and sold a lot." And he goes, "Oh, you know that one?" I said, "You know, wait, stop. I don't care how you finish it. Yes, I regret selling it. It doesn't matter. I wish I could have kept them all, and I wish I could have bought them all. They're all good deals 5 years from now."
Well, I like that. Write that
Yeah.
down. Write that down.
Find your niche by looking at your local demographics. Right, Lindsay said it there, look what's hot, what's moving, what's selling, what is the average price point that's selling in your market, how many transactions are there, right? If Fredericksburg is the most expensive place to live in Texas, well, maybe you want to work not in the affordable housing sector, but maybe you want to move into the luxury sector, right? If you're passionate to hang around with the high tech folks and top techie stuff, where you probably don't want to hang out where farm ranches are being sold. Maybe we're going to move to San Francisco where the high tech belt is. So just take a look at your area and see what's going on. Right? If you're in Florida, let's say you've got a lot of baby boomers who are retiring, you might not want to sell to the much younger generations because they might not want to move to Naples where the average age is 60 years old. Right? If you love working with college kids, then maybe you want to come to Massachusetts and Boston because we get the highest density of college kids and agents and kids who move from city to city year after year, and you can make a hell of a living doing rentals. Figure that out. And if your passion doesn't meet the demographics, then move.
That's right. That's right on. No, that's very serious. That's really good. That's really good.
So this is very impromptu, but there is a team in the room that's a legacy team. They have owned their brokerage for 50 years and 3 generations. And in the past 2 years, they decided that one, their love was their county, and their niche was their county. They are Parker County, Texas. And because of that, and door knocking, their passion for what this was, and knowing Farm and Ranch, they were able to win $120 million Farm and Ranch listing.
Woo!
Yes.
Stand up. Yeah.
Rich Legacy Group, will you come up here, please?
Woo! Yeah.
So this is the largest untold sale for several reasons. Texas is a non-disclosure state, so we have to be very careful what we advertise. But not to mention that they sold this ranch. They are also reselling for the buyers parts of this ranch again. And when we're talking about niche markets, there's something, they did a presentation with me on my podcast, but they were telling me how they won this and they found the buyer. They represented both sides. And the way they were able to do this, and this is a string into how you find your niche, they went to the Economic Development Board, they went to the city, they went to everyone, and they said, what do you need? And the city came back to them and were like, you know what, we need more industrial. We need more multifamily. We need more, you can tell the story better than me. Am I doing okay? Am I doing okay? But I was like dumbfounded. I was like, I never thought to go to my city and county and ask them, what do you need for tax purposes? What would make the county more money and be able to develop the opportunity in the home that I love and live in? And to me, that's another thing. Get involved and plug into your county and your city, because that's where it starts. And you're gonna get those opportunities, and because of that, they were able to take and build this massive portfolio for this entire piece of land. Some residential, some multifamily, all this, I can't even begin to tell you, the story is amazing. Fort Worth, Texas actually granted them back, they unannexed it, right?
Yes, yeah, there's a new annexation law that happened in September 1. I don't know, does anybody in the room know about that? Where if the city cannot provide you water and sewer and you're in their ETJ, you can de-annex yourself and take yourself out of that city and put it into another city. So right now we're switching around annexation. We're in 2 different cities right now, the ETJ, Aledo, Go Bearcats. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Aledo Bearcats. And then Fort Worth. So yeah, it's very interesting. We're meeting with county commissioners, mayors, county judges. I mean, get in the room with the people that make the decisions, especially if you're getting into commercial or anything like that, because that's the people you gotta please. You know, just find your buyer and then get in the right room.
And then when you, just to let them know, when you started this, you didn't know much about industrial and all that.
Well, I faked it till I made it. In 2013, my dad told me, do you need this?
No, you're
Okay, okay, yeah. In 2013, he told me, he says, you need to get into commercial. Number one, there's no women in the business. And number two, there's nobody in Parker County doing commercial. So I just started going to meetings like, these little referral groups and things, and just said I was a commercial agent. I never sold a commercial deal in my life. Anyway, I faked it till I made it, and then now we're the #1 commercial real estate company in Parker County. I want to say, we were Century 21 before for 21 years. My family's been ERA, and then we went to Century 21. And we moved to EXP 3 years ago, and I will tell you, there's no business like EXP and the support. We've had everybody reach out to us. They've done interviews. She's been amazing. We love this Lindsay. And just the support is amazing. So I just really appreciate, recognizing us.
Well, you put us on the map with a $120 million sale. Like, they make us look good, guys. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you. Well, definitely want to thank you guys for being here. My definition of sales, and Tom hit it on the head, and you guys have been talking, find out what people want and make it easy for them to get it. Find out what people want and make it easy for them to get it. That's what sales is. And this has been our panel, guys. Lindsay, I'm going to let you close out with anything.
Actually, we had a really fun icebreaker, and we just dove right in.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know how we found this question. Nolly, you want to read it?
Yeah, so the icebreaker question, okay. If you could sell a famous fictional property like the Batcave, Bilbo Baggins' Hobbit Burrow, or Tony Stark's mansion, how would you market it? And what would be your catchy taglines to attract potential buyers?
All right, I had to think about this, but I wrote it down. Well, if I were marketing the Bat Cave, I'd say it's the ultimate hide-and-seek paradise, with a tagline like, your secret lair awaits, and a Batmobile parking is included. If you don't want to live in a cave, maybe I can show you Tony Stark's mansion. Live like a genius billionaire. Every room comes with a suit-up station.
Okay, so, I'm so happy we're doing this, because I really worked on this. My husband.
Did you guys use AI for this? Did you use AI?
Okay, no. Okay, first time ever offered for sale, Gilligan's Island Estate. This gym is conveniently located just a 3-hour tour off mainland Hawaii. Low maintenance Polynesian decor with thatched roof and bunk bed jute hammocks with natural floors, no vacuum needed. You'll enjoy an endless supply of green electricity provided by your custom bamboo exercise bike, plus an unregulated private well and rain collection system, allowing you to embrace living completely off the grid. No need to go to the noisy, crowded grocery store, as you will enjoy an endless supply of fresh fish and vegetables and coconut cream pies. Comes complete with entertaining stories of past castaways trying to escape the island that you will never want to leave.